The carpenter's tools had a conference. Brother Hammer was the chairman. Upon bringing the meeting to order, he said that he had heard there were some complaints among his fellow tools and thought it would be a good idea to discuss it openly and frankly together. So let's hear your complaints, Brother Tools. Yes. Brother Saw, what is your complaint? Brother Saw stood up and said, "It's that little Brother Pencil. He gets on everyone's nerves. He is so small. He can hardly be found when he is needed, and when he is found for service, he is always so blunt that he makes a bad impression. He certainly needs to be sharpened up a bit if he expects to be of any use." Then little Brother Pencil slowly arose to his feet and spoke. "All right, I may be blunt at times, but it's when I spend too long in service when I'm like that. But at least I'm not like Big Brother Drill and his family of bits. It seems to me that they are always going around in circles, and really, to me, Brother Drill is a bit boring." So Brother Drill and all his family of little bits stood up and he replied, "Yes, I know I have a reputation of going around in circles, but at least my family is not like Brother Plain. You have to push him to get him to do anything, and then all of his work is on the surface. There is no depth to his work, like that of ours." Well, all the tools agreed that Brother Drill had a good point about Brother Plain. All eyes turned to Brother Plain to see what he would say. "Well, brothers," spoke up Brother Plain, "I guess I'm not the only one around here that has to be pushed to do anything or who has no depth in service. Brother Sandpaper is worse than I am. He is new in our midst, and look how rough he is. I can't stand to be beside him. He just rubs me the wrong way. How can he accomplish anything in his service? I'll never know. He's so irritating." "Well," jumped up Brother Sandpaper, and he was really mad. "Brother Plain is just jealous," he shouted. "He knows I have better success in service than he does." Raising his voice even louder, he yelled, "While everyone is complaining, how about Brother Rule? He makes me boil by always measuring others by his standards, as though Brother Rule is the only one right around here." Well, all the tools seemed to have legitimate complaints against one another. Some suggested that a committee be formed to hear all the complaints and try to settle them. Brother Level was suggested, but he was turned down because he was so exacting. Brother Square was turned down because he was too old-fashioned. Brother Chisel could be so cutting and everyone was afraid of Brother Punch. In the midst of the heated discussion, while some were about to walk out, thinking they were not needed, who should walk in but their master, the carpenter from Nazareth? His father had asked him to build a house they could dwell in, and now he was almost finished with it. He put on his work clothes and started to finish the work that his father had given him to do. And he used the saw, the hammer, the pencil, the drill, and the plane. He also used the sandpaper, the ruler, and the level, the punch, and other tools. But now someone else appeared on the scene. It was the carpenter's father. How pleased and thrilled he was to see what his son had accomplished. "How did you do it, my son?" asked the father. "Well, I put to use all the tools I bought, and how I love every one of them. I paid a high price for them, father, but they are really worth it. See, Brother Hammer there? He is so useful for the work of both tearing down and building up. He's really effective in service because he really hits the nail on the head. He's a very solid worker, I must say. And Brother Saw, he's a really good worker. He's really sharp and puts teeth into his work, constantly going back and forth in one area at a time for very effective service. I'm sure glad to have Brother Pencil too, although he's not very big and I have to sharpen him up a bit from time to time. Unlike the other tools, he's very useful in the correcting and marking work. And father, here's another one that I just couldn't be without, Big Brother Drill and all those little bits in his family. They are so good at reaching down deep into the heart, and they are always leaving a way for a follow-up. And look at this Brother Plain. He's so handy to have around in the service. He's a very smooth worker and never bites off more than he can chew at one time. He's so good at overcoming obstacles as well." "And how did you find this tool, my son?" asked the father. "You mean Brother Lovell?" questions the son. "He is another one that is very useful to me. He has a good eye for balance and he is so level-headed. I can use him often, for he does a good job for me. I'm so thankful," said the carpenter, "for even the very small tools I bought. They are so essential for my work. Take little Brother Punch, for example. Although he is quite small, with the assistance of Brother Hammer, he does a fine job of driving his point home. And there is tiny Brother Rule. Although he is small in size, he is always extending himself to meet various circumstances, and is accurate in his service. Even my new tools, like Brother Sandpaper, I don't know how I can get along without him. Although there is a certain roughness about him, he does well in producing smooth results through his service. So you see, Father, said the carpenter, it is because of having a variety of good tools that I am able to accomplish this house that you asked me to build. I'm so thankful that I have all of these tools, so that with their help I can finish your house you have asked me to build. Let me show you around the rest of the building, Father. Well, upon their leaving, all the carpenter's tools started rejoicing because of hearing the carpenter's commendation and seeing how pleased the Father was with what they had accomplished together. Brother Hammer arose again and said, Brothers, I perceive that all of us are needed. Although all of us may have our faults, or not do things the same as others think we should, whether old or new, young or old, large or small, all of us are laborers together in pleasing our Master and his Father.